Okay. My Wi-Fi's strong. My signal's strong. I've been checking that. There's nothing wrong with my connection. I have a funny feeling it's YouTube itself. It might be YouTube. Um, it's Sunday. There's a lot of people that go on YouTube Live. That could very well be the problem. There's a lot of people able to do their things on YouTube. I don't know. I know it's not my phone. It's funny. I was looking at the video from yesterday. I didn't like my gut being in the picture, but that's besides the point. That was supposedly freezing up a lot too. So when I looked at the video, there was no freezing. So that tells me that the video itself wasn't freezing, but YouTube's server might have been. Um, but the video is intact. There's no freeze ups in it. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm going to bounce off of here again because I'm pretty much done. I just have to do this little bit. I was just adding the thickness to the walls on the. See, all right. And remember, you can't do that with hydrocal. You can't thicken the walls after it's already been cured with hydrocal because hydrocal will not stick to itself. Ultracal 30 will. Ultracal 30 will stick to itself really well. So you can, even after it's been drying for a day, you can stick a thicker, you can make a thicker wall on there. Your wall will be fine. Um, and it's all about absorbing moisture. So if uh, your mold is a little thin in an area, make sure you thicken it up and stick with Ultra Cal 30 because it's the best stuff, I think, by far. It doesn't make you rush. Um, I always use cold water whenever I'm doing the sculpture or whenever I'm doing the mold. I use cold water so it doesn't cure real fast. Use hot water, it'll cure super fast. Okay, I got to bounce because I got to get some boiling water. Actually, you know what? I'll let you guys see that process. I'll be right back with the boiling water. I'm gonna bring it out here, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, we made a spot for that. I got the hair over here. Okay, I'm gonna bring the phone over here. Show you what I'm doing. Bang a bang a bang. All right, that's boiling water right now. All right, and I've got soap in there. Also got a degreaser and a now I don't want to mix that too much. I just kind of want to poke at it. Man, that stinks. Washed my ass. They barely washed this thing at all. I'll let that soak for probably a good, I'll let it soak until it cools down, almost. I don't want to get it too cool because there's still sticks in there. There's all kinds of stuff from the yuck. I'll be scrubbing the hell out of that pot. I don't really use this pot for anything. Um, but that's mohair that needs to be cleaned better than what they did. And hopefully I have some links in there to do a mask. If not, I'm not going to use mohair, I don't think. Because mohair is super expensive. And it's like $25 for 8 ounces in most cases that are clean, if it's clean mohair. If you guys know of another place that I can get the mohair that's cheap, I mean, I got this on Etsy, and the only way I can get a pound of it fairly cheap was ordering it dirty as hell. So that's mohair soaking in boiling hot water, just taken off the stove. And in the water, I put Dawn, a little degreaser, and some shampoo, some good shampoo. Help the odor too. And once this, I don't want it to get too cool. I got to take this and then put it into another bucket of water, and then probably dump this and then reboil some more. And keep doing the process 2 or 3 times to clean the hair real good. You know, but then this might not even be worth it. The thing is, you don't want to stir it, because if you don't want to, what they call matting. If I stir this up or I pull this apart too much, I'll create, it'll mat the hair. And I don't want to mat the hair. I want the hair to stay, you know, lustrous and full, and just the way it was off the lamb. We will style it and do all that stuff once it's on the mask, but I got to make sure this is clean. Yeah, it's the only way you're going to do this. You got to make sure it's clean. See how dirty that water looks? They washed this once. What the heck was that? Where'd they keep their lambs? In with the pigs? It's crazy, man. I mean, that hair was dirty, and that was supposedly cleaned once. And I've seen people clean it one time and had really nice hair. This was filthy. So, ugh. I ain't kidding, boy. It stinks awful. It's a combination of a stall and shit. That's what you smell. And lanolin. And hopefully this soap will help with the it'll help with the odor of it. You know, otherwise I'm probably gonna have to throw some kind of oils into it. Let me see, what else can I show you guys? Oh, you know, I got a friend, I think, in my Grim Reaper. Up inside there, there's a nest. See that on top of it, right over here, right here. There's a nest, and there's a hole that goes down inside the foam. I'm gonna have to pull all that out and then refoam the hole. I have a funny feeling it's a mouse. That's where it made its home in the summertime. So, yeah, this is firming up now, good. It's firming up, but it's still not firm enough. And this will be my brother's mask. Oh yeah. And that's a large mask. This is a large one. The small one still looks blonde. And it still looks real light. See how bright that you don't want that mask this color before you paint it. You got to let it cure up a little more. So say hello, anybody that's on. I'm going to jump off because there's not much else I can do right now except for finish up this mold and my other mold that needs to be thickened in a few spots. So then later on this evening, I'm going to fill these up with some latex, and we're going to have a couple masks, which is cool. I might have to stick with my my wool hair on my masks because I just don't like, I don't, this process of cleaning out the hair and then not getting the right length, that really ticks me off. If that hair was the right length, I wouldn't even care. But the majority of the pieces that I kept pulling off of there, it was only like 2 inches, 2 inch lengths. So the mohair so far is not going to be an option for me unless I buy it clean. And I have a big bag of the mohair, but it's so damn expensive. The hair is really expensive, and I just don't like it. I'll show you what I did since you guys are on here right now. I got a bag of mohair from this company here. It's like a pound, and it's raw mohair, which means it was literally cut right off the animal, and then it was supposedly washed once. And that doesn't look like they did. I don't think they washed this at all because this thing's really dirty. And I can still see a lot of lanolin. See how milkiness, it looks real milky? The water, that's lanolin. And it'll all come to the top. Now this is boiling hot water. And this is natural hair from a sheep. That's where mohair comes from. It comes from a sheep. So, you know, and I put a degreaser in there, mild one, along with, hair shampoo. So maybe the shampoo will give it a little less smell. This literally smells like shit. I can't stand it. And if I can't get that smell out of there, I'll be damned if I put it on a mask. I don't know if I can use this anyway. So far, I haven't been able to find any real long locks of hair. The hair is fairly short. It's like literally 2 inches. 2 inches, and that's not long enough. I got to have 4 to 6 inches of length for the hair. And I think what they did was they cut this off an animal that only had, you know, a short growth. It didn't have a real long growth. I'm going to have to reach out to them and let them know, hey, you told me this was 5 to 6 inches. This is 2 inches. I got it on Etsy. And this is the company that I got it from. Now, I've seen a lot of positive things, so maybe it was just a mix-up. I don't know. Maybe it might have been my fault, too. Maybe there's some sort of thing where you have to actually ask for the length. I didn't see one, but I'll double check. So I don't want to bash the company yet. They have a good rating. I want to make sure that I reach out to them first and find out what happened here. It might be me. It might be them. Just might be a general mistake, and if that's the case, I want another batch. So, and it has to be the right lengths. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know too much about mohair, and I know a little bit because I've got some farming in my background with relatives and stuff. So, from back in the day, back years and years and years ago. But anyway, that's what I'm dealing with today. I'm doing that, and I'm fixing up my mold. Pretty much, that's it. And the sun's finally coming out. Yay! So I gotta turn this over now that this is smoothed out. Oh yeah, that's on there now. That ain't going nowhere. Yep, I did fix that. It's nice and hard. I can't even smooth that out a little bit now. Which is okay. It gives me a little more grip. Now what I have to do is lift this up and turn it on this side. See, this side's nice and packed out. This side has to be packed out just a little bit, not too much. And then I'll have a perfect mold, thick enough everywhere to where I don't have to worry about moisture eventually cracking the walls, because once this oversaturates from, like, so many masks, it starts to get brittle. So as long as it keeps absorbing moisture, the better off your mold is, and that means make your mold a little thicker than natural, normal. Now, this doesn't have any burlap in it. Don't need it. Don't need it. I only use burlap when I make my master copies, because the master copies, you don't want anything going wrong with them. So you want to make sure your mold's done. And yeah, hang on, let me see if I can't lift this while I'm holding the phone. Yeah, I don't even have that much to do on this one, on this side. There you go, come on. See how lumpy and clumpy right in here? It's got to be filled in. In this area, it's got to be filled in. But I don't have a lot to make this time. I don't have to make a big batch like I did on the other side. The other side was a real cave. It was all concaved, and I mean the mold was only like that thick there. This side, oh, it's thin there too. Okay, I'll have to build that out. Actually, this rim is thin too. It's actually that thick. And I want just a little bit. That at the base, right here on the rim, it's perfect thickness. But inside here, it's like literally that thick. Oh, go away. All right, let me do this. My phone back on the mold. Put the phone back on the stand. Hey, how's it going, Rod? I'm thickening the outer wall of my mold just a little bit. Down around the neck area, it was too thin. Gravity wasn't my friend when I was making that mold yesterday. Whenever you're doing your molds vertically like that, standing right up on its neck end, right under the chin and around the neck is always a issue with thickness. There's ways to do it, but I was more concerned with making sure that I didn't have any air bubbles or pockets of weakness inside the mold. The mold wall has been giving me issues. It might have been because of the moisture. Yesterday there was a lot of what do you call it? It was humid yesterday. It was raining, and today the sun's finally coming out, but the humidity's still kind of high. But in this situation, I'm making my batter really thick. I'm making the plaster real thick, and I'm going to fill in here, a little bit there, and on top of the head here. Just thicken the walls really good. So this way we have a nice thick mold that will absorb lots of moisture without losing detail over time. I should be able to get 25 to 30 masks out of this mold. Michael Myers doesn't have a ton of detail. Where the only detail is in this mask is in my logo in the back of the head. All right, so don't mind the stillness and the quietness. I'm gonna go mix up a batch of plaster real quick, and then we'll see where we go from here. We'll see what happens. This will be done, and then I gotta work on the other mold that I finished yesterday. So, we're making this nice and thin. Literally, I'm using probably like 14 ounces of water. 14 ounces of water for that batch that's on the side of the head there. That'll be a thick enough batch to do what I need to do. it for that. Then we just switch this around a little bit. Might have made it a little bit too much plaster. We'll see what happens when this saturates. If I need to add more water, I will. See how dry that is? Might have to add a little more water to that. Woo! A big. Ooh, that pot gave me a little burn. I'm gonna let that cool down before I go try and dump that out. Now what I'm going to do is instead of like dumping it in there, I'm going to just let it drip off my hands into the bucket. Not a lot of water. Perfect. The perfect amount. Let's see the bucket of water, plaster. Wait for all that white to disappear in the bucket. When that disappears, I'm ready to mix it by hand and slap it on there and make it nice and thick. So we should be good to go and make a mask. This is the large. Yeah, this is the large. That's the large master mold. That'll make a 27-inch mask. 26 and a half. I forget exactly what it was. When it shrinks up, when the latex shrinks up, it's probably roughly about 26 inches. Now I don't want to. I don't want to I'm thinking about something else. I'm just thinking what I got to do with that hair. Where am I going to put that fucking what am I going to do with it? I got to figure it out. I'm not too enthused with the hair because I know it's not long enough. I think they shaved a goat that didn't have a lot of hair on it. And either I got a bad batch or I didn't specify the length that I needed. I don't know. I have to figure it out. That's for sure. It should be almost saturated. Yeah, that's close enough. And I'll mix this by hand over here on my chair. I feel a little sore today. Shouldn't be. Oh, perfect. Another batch that's perfect. Nice thick. It's not going to run on me. This is actually a little thicker than the other batch, which is going to cure even faster. So I want to make sure all the lumps and bumps are out of it. I feel like I'm playing with mud again. I mean, literally real good mud. The good stuff. Oh yeah. Here we go, guys. Just slap it on there. Make it happy. Make sure it's all on there, and then I'll even it out. It's all on where I want it to be. And I'll spread it out nicely. Okay, hold on. Let me put this in the water. Soak it up. Before that stuff dries, it's going to dry quick. It's going to kick quick. That's what it's called when it starts to harden. The thicker you make that, the faster it kicks. Now, back over here before this gets too settled in. Now this is the front of the face. I know that that's thickened up. That's real thick, actually. Look at me, I'm sculpting in plaster. All right, let's see what we got. Trying to bring it into the other area nice and thick. Now we got it shaped, okay? This mold's done. Shake my hands off, I don't want that. I'm not pushing hard on this. Bringing in the edges where they need to be. This is where the ear is, right here. Let me get my little blade. Knife. Huh. Okay. Put you down somewhere. Where did I put you? There it is. Okay. Having a little problem right in this area here because of the wood. It's going to thicken up nice. Oh yeah. I don't want any. I don't want anything on the bottom of this. I want it nice and soft, right, and completely flat. Let that thicken up now and dry up a little more so I can smooth it more, and that's done. So now it's just a matter of smoothing out. You just let it dry, let it dry. You keep letting it dry in stages. You can only do that with UltraCal. What I just did there, I made that mold yesterday. It was pretty dry and pretty cured. The inside looks like it's dry. It's ready for latex for sure. It's not gray. It's more whitish. I mean, it is gray, but it's a light gray compared to dark gray. And UltraCal 30 is the only way you can. You can't do this to most plasters because the plaster doesn't like to stick to itself. HydroCal does not like to stick to itself. You have to do it all in one shot. If you make a mistake, you're out of mold. So I wouldn't use HydroCal unless I was just a lot more experienced, and I'm not really that experienced. I'm when I share this stuff, I'm learning and I'm sharing with you the mistakes as well as the rewards. You know, I'm sharing success as well as the failures because I'm no expert at this. So it doesn't hurt to share the failures because then at least you won't repeat what I'm doing. You know, so I try to keep it honest, try to keep it up. You know, I've only been doing mask making for 2 years, and you know, I'm still new to it. So, but I do a lot of research and I do a lot of reading and I watch a lot of videos. At nighttime, I never watch network TV. I literally put YouTube on, and that's the only thing I watched. I watch mainly YouTube, and I'm always looking into things that I'm interested in. Nothing more, nothing less. And boy, does it really help you. It makes you learn a lot of things. Some accounts are fake, where people are you know, being a little dishonest about how things are, and some people don't share every secret. The way I look at it is I'm not sharing their secrets. I'm learning as I'm doing it, and I'm making my own mistakes without having to. I have learned some things, don't get me wrong, but nothing. I'm not sharing anything that he isn't already putting out there, or they are not even putting out there. If, in other words, if Nick Malpagano was to share with me something that he specifically showed me as a friend, and he didn't want me to share that technology, or you know, he didn't want me to show people on YouTube. Boy, I'm tired. I'm lethargic. You know what it is? I need some weed. I need some weed. Need some energy. Anyway, yeah. So if he was to share something with me and he didn't want me to share it, I wouldn't share it. But as I do things on my own, I'm going to share my mistakes as well as my triumphs. My triumphs. Yeah. Hooked on phonics. I need it bad. You're working on a new leather face? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a latex mask, uh, you got to make sure that your master mold is very big. Your sculpture has to be very big. If you're going to do a a uh, a leather face and you don't want the mask to shrink up, well, the only way to do that is my master mold. That is huge. That's like 30 inches in diameter. All right, from the brow all the way to the furthest point of the back of the head and around. That is 30 inches in diameter, 29, 30, something like that. And that makes a nice 27-inch latex mask. That size turns to this size. From this size, you'll get a 27 from the 30, from the 20. Sorry, you'll get a, yeah, that's 29 inches. 29 inches in diameter is the master mold. That'll turn into a 27-inch large mask. And then when I recast this and make a mold out of this at 27, it'll shrink down 2 more inches. So it brings it down to 25. The thicker you make your latex masks, the more the shrinkage. Now, if you make thick mask, it'll shrink up a lot. A lot of people don't make thick masks. I like to make thick masks because I want my mask to last whoever buys my mask. It's going to last them a lifetime. But at the same time, I got to be careful. The maximum thickness is about 1/8 of an inch. Doesn't get any thicker than that because the latex will not. It will not. There's a barrier that it creates. Come on, man. I keep getting these notifications interrupting me. Yeah, there's a barrier of thickness that you're only going to get out of a dwelled mask inside your. Now when you're doing a slush cast, you can make it as thick as you want. You just keep layering it and layering it and layering it. But when you do a dwell cast, it's actually a perfect thickness of 1/8 inch on a really thick mask. That's usually like a 4-hour, a 4-hour sit dwell time. Thinner than 1/8 inch, I'd like to probably pull it out after 2 hours. I'll dump out all the latex after 2 hours. I got to get a screen today. I got to get screen so I can filter out my latex over there. It's got some chunks and lumps of hard, big pieces of latex inside the bucket, and I got to get that out of there. I don't want that going inside my dwelling. So anyway, that's something else I'm doing today. So I'll be working on that master mold that's right over there sitting in the orange bucket. It's right next to the big blue trash can. That's the small mask. I made these 2 molds yesterday. I made this mold yesterday, and I made that mold yesterday. And I have a large and a small mask. The large one I'll barely probably use that much. So if I get 30 masks out of that, that'll be great, and it'll probably take 2 years before I have to replace that mold. That one there, the small one, everybody's going to want a copy of that. That's going to be about 25-inch pull when it's done, 24 3/4 to 25 1/2, depending on the thickness of the mask. That's where it's going to be. And yeah. So if you're dealing with latex masks and you're making latex masks, you always have to make sure your master mold is a lot bigger. If you're doing a large mask and a small mask, the first thing you have to do is, like, say that's the clay. Say this is the clay. All right, you make a mold from your clay master, your sculpture, and that would be 30 inches, roughly 29 to 30 inches. In diameter, and then when you're done with the mold, you pour latex into that mold and you make a master copy, and then you foam fill this while it's still in the mold. You foam fill this, and that will be your smaller size, because this shrinks up to about 27. It shrinks up 2 inches. At least that's the way it's been for me with the thick. Because when I make a master copy, I make it real thick. I let that sit in there for 4.5 hours. I know that it's no longer going to get any thicker than what it is. It's at the maximum thickness. So then I foam fill this after about, I guess, around maybe 3 hours. Well, I want to make sure that the inside of the latex is completely, dry, and you want to make sure it's fairly dry. So after about 24 hours, then I'll foam fill this, and then that'll continue to shrink up. But when I use the foam, I use a special foam called TC266. It's a variable density foam. It's a very soft foam, and it it will collapse because this will still shrink, and it'll still shrink up. So it goes to about 20. Let me see. It's 29. Yeah, it's 2 inch shrink, 27 inch. Then I make a master copy from that 27 inch, and then the next copy, the mold from this master copy will produce a 25 inch mask. That's how you shrink a mask. If you want to make the mask smaller, I can keep going down, 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 but I don't think most people can fit into anything below 24 inches, unless you're a little kid. But I don't make, there's only two sizes, the large 27 and then the 25. And sometimes that varies depending on the thickness. When I make the small mask, I try to keep it at a thinner casting. This way there's not too much shrinkage. You'll have probably 1.25 inch shrinkage versus 2 inch shrinkage. The thicker the mask, the more shrinkage. And that's what I try to do. And 25 inches, at 24 inches, the size of your sculpt doesn't allow any more shrinking. Well, that's because what do you have it maxed out at? 24, 25 inch? Is your sculpture 25 inches? How big around is your sculpture? Measure. Take a sewing measuring tape, the cloth tape, and measure from the brow right here, right at the scowl. Measure right above the ear and all the way around. Measure that area and the furthest point of the back of the head. Make sure you do that. Oh, it's a half mask. Well, it's more important on how wide it is there. So if you half mask it, all right? So from this ear to that ear should be half the distance of the diameter of the head. In other words, if the head's 24 inches, it's 12 inches from that ear to that ear, going around that for circumference. You want to make sure it's the halfway point of the mask. All right, and that would be right about where the seam is. Well, it'll be actually go from where the half mask starts and measure that, and that'll tell you how big that needs to be. If it's 24 inches and if the mask would have been 24 inches, it's 12 inches. If it's 25 inch, it's going to be 12.5 inches. If it's 26, so on and so forth. It's half of whatever that is. You just have to know that with a half mask, it changes a little bit. Okay, well, the 28 Myers mask was a 24. I thought it was a 24-inch mask, 24 to 24.5 maybe, at the most. And there were some masks that were available that were a little thicker. Bigger, not thicker, bigger. They're pretty much all the same thickness. I don't know how they do that. That's because I can never get the timing perfect, and the humidity and everything. Well, they're doing it probably in a controlled environment, and they literally let it dwell for a certain period of time, and that's it. They don't do a thin, because they're pretty thin. They're like a 16th of an inch thin. But the latex is high quality. So therefore, it's really strong stuff. The latex that they made those masks with, the 2018, they're good. It's a good high quality latex. I'm hoping my latex is high quality. I get it from Brick in the Yard. And I'm going to question, I'm going to call them up and ask them about the latex. Is there a higher quality latex? Or is this the, is this the good stuff? I don't know. I just know I've got a mask in there from Knife Wielder, Prowler Productions, and it's the Knife Wielder. Oh, what was it called? Oh, anyway, Ezra made it, and it's 22 years old. The mask, 21 years. No, it's 21 years old, and the latex is still really nice, and it's a thick mask. It's like an 1/8 inch thick. He made a thick pour for me. I told him I wanted a thick one and a large size. And he gave me a large size, and it was a thick pull. It's nice, nice mask. I got to rehair it, but that's okay. I can do that. What's nice? Yeah, if that's only a little bit bigger than the tots, then you're right. You can't shrink that any more than what it is, because your sculpture's exactly at that size, and yeah, you're going to have to probably do silicone. You know, and the thing is, even if you make a latex mask from that, even if your mold is it doesn't matter what the mold's made out of. If you make a latex mask from that, it's still going to shrink. It's going to shrink up even more from whatever the actual size of your sculpture is. It's going to shrink unless you use silicone for your mask. I don't want to get involved with silicones. I think silicones are very hard to do, and it's very expensive. I don't have the experience yet to be tackling silicone. I think I have to do this for a couple of years before I can even think about tackling a silicone mold and all that stuff, because there's vent holes, and there's an inside and an outside. There's a lot more to making a silicone mold than the sculpture never changes. That's still the same, but making the mold is a whole nother animal. And I've never even done a resin mold yet, so I don't even know what that's like. One of you guys out there that's doing this, if you're doing resin molds, put a YouTube on. Show us how to do it. I'd like to know how to do a resin mold, because I have to make some, plaster. I can make some plaster castings of a neck area, and I put the head on there, and so I can make a bench. What do they call it? Oh, I can't think of the name of it. Well, like I said, share the knowledge. Resin molds are that easy, huh? You don't have to worry about the plaster falling off the what do you call it? Like the urethane. The resin doesn't stick to urethane, does it? Or do you have to put a release on it? Curious. When you do a resin mold, what are you using for a dividing wall? Are you making two-piece resin molds, or are you making single piece, one piece? Well, you have to make a two-piece in order to get your clay out, unless you're using wet clay. If you're using monster clay, I use monster clay real hard, and you would never be able to get that out of you do your resin molds and okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, now you're putting a silicone wall. In other words, you're building up silicone over your whole sculpture, and then you put a resin hard casting around that after after the silicone's cured, right? Is that what you're saying? I have seen that. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I have seen that. I've seen that done. Mitch has done that on his channel. Yeah, I think that would be a lot easier. Just silicone's more expensive. Now, can you put you can't put latex in the silicone, can you? Can I make a latex mask from a silicone mold? I've never attempted that. I always thought you had to, unless it's slush casting only. But can you do latex in a silicone mold? Will latex stick to the silicone is the question. Or do you still have to put a release on it? I mean, Rod Lane. Yeah, can I make a latex? Yes, and that's true because the reason why we use plaster is because it sucks the moisture out of the latex. And yeah, I mean if you're doing a resin hard casting, or even if you're going to put a plaster hard a copy of it, yeah, silicone doesn't absorb the moisture. So the only thing you can do with silicone is slush cast. I could see this working where it would slush cast and you just have to let it dry one thin layer at a time. It would take you 3 days to make a mask. Just it's so much easier doing it with when it comes to latex. I'll just stick with doing this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now that one's done. That's thickened up. That mold's done. I should have smoothed it over and I forgot. I bet it's hard as a rock right now. Yeah, it's too hard to do anything with, but that's okay. Who cares? I can sand it if I want. I could stick some sandpaper on that bad boy. But what's the point? Nobody's going to see this. That's just a mold. I just want to make sure it's thick enough to where it's really pulling the moisture out. And now to test how heavy it is, you know what? I better let it harden up a little more first. Yeah, I am. I'm going to let that harden just a little bit more. It still feels a little damp. Don't need to crack it. Let me see how this is starting to look. I need a knife just to... That's some nasty crap there, man. I need pinchers. Oh, what do I do? I don't even know if I can use this crap. I don't think I want to use it. Tell you the truth. It's still hot. I'm gonna let that sit there for a few more minutes. It still doesn't look all that clean. Shoot. What'd you say? Oh, okay. Give me a sec. Let this kick off first so you can hear me. Come on. My nozzle leaks a little bit on my air compressor. That's why it keeps kicking on every 10 minutes. Okay, This is Mohair, and I ordered it raw. So I got a full, excuse me, I got a full pound for 25 bucks. It came in this bag. All right. And if you know anything about mohair, it's expensive. You'll spend $25 for 8 ounces. And that's if it's cleaned. Now, when you order it raw, which means shaved right off the lamb, it's dirty as shit. And it's got a lot of shit in it. It's shit. It literally smells like I'm in a barn with animal shit. So it's shit and hay and dirt. And this was boiling water. And I put soap in it. I also put Dawn, because it's a natural degreaser, and I put some hair conditioner and hair soap in there, and I'm letting it soak, and then I'm going to take this out of here, put it in here after straining it. I got to get some gloves on because I don't want to deal with that water. I'm going to take it out by hand, squeeze it out, put it in this bucket, fill this back up with some more boiling water and some more soap, and just keep doing this. I got to do it at least 2 or 3 times to get this clean because this is nasty. Nasty. But it's the cheapest way to get mohair, and if it doesn't work, I'm a little disappointed because they sent me, the links are too short. They're only like this long, and I can't do anything with that. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to eat this stew. I don't even want the broth. Yeah, that's mohair is what that is. So, all right, so you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it with my hands. I'll just have to wash my hands. It's just easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the camera and I'll let you see what I'm going to do here. I'll set up the tripod over here because I think the water's cool enough now so I can, come on, my tripod. I'm trying to get this over here. Oh yeah, nothing better than lamb shit to start, huh? Now how hot is that? Nope, I gotta let that sit for a couple, probably another hour. It's still hot. That's still way too hot. Didn't burn me that, just a little warm. What can I do? I'm kind of stuck, guys. I don't have nothing left to do right now. I can check the weight of this. Yeah, that's hard enough now. Oh yeah, that thing's heavy. That's a heavy mold. Sorry about that. I just knocked it over. That's a heavy mold. I'll have to check the inside real good before I put the latex in. I got the other mold to do yet. I can do that. I'm just kind of, I've already showed you the process. There's no point in me staying on here and making it even, just repeating what I've already done on film. So, but that's got to cure up some. I'm letting the sunlight help it a little bit. It'll shrink up. That's going to be my brother's mask. I got to let that cure. Sun's finally coming out today. I got to let it dry. I'm going to probably right near dark. I'm going to cut the grass. I got that chore to do. Rained all morning this morning, so that mold's done, ready to work, ready to do some work. And I got to do the other mold that's right next to that blue bucket. I'm going to thicken those walls a little bit, and then I'm going to, that's the small mask. That'll be the small mask in there. I'll make a couple of those. I'll make a couple of the large ones. I got a couple of them that I have to give to people. I think I'm going to give this to a friend of mine because it's not perfect and I can't sell something that's not perfect. I might redo my brother's in this mold here. I just don't like the way this turned out. But it's just me. A friend of mine's like, I don't care, just give me any mask that you got laying around. I'm like, okay, well, I got a Michael Myers mask that people will give their left arm for. And he just needs a latex mask. Oh, where are you located, Rod? 10:30. Hey, my day is like I'm gonna say it's probably like 3 in the afternoon, close to 4. I'm in South Jersey. Oh, you're in Germany. Oh yeah, it's late there. It's like 4 in the afternoon here. I'll let you go then, buddy. I'm gonna jump off of here too. So I got some other things to do. I got to get some stuff done. I'm not gonna film any more of this because I've already done this. I've already showed it. There's not much left for me to do outside of wash that nasty, nasty hair, which I'm not even sure I can use. I gotta let that cool down before I can even rinse it out. Got to be able to put my hands in the water. Anyway, guys, have a great day and a great afternoon. I'll see you next time, Rod. I'm going to look you up. I'm going to check out some of the stuff. I hope you're on YouTube and you have some stuff that you can share. I'd love to see some of your work. All right? I'll check you out this evening when I get on my computer, when I can relax. Actually, I'll probably get in front of the TV and put you on YouTube there and watch you. All right, brother. You have a good day. Peace, everybody. Hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell. And share the content for me. I'm trying to grow the channel. I need to grow the channel over the next couple of years. I'm hitting retirement age. And when I hit retirement, I'd like to have a little income from YouTube. Just a little. Don't have to be a lot. Hopefully my content gets better as I get better at doing this. I have to do some more editing. I have to go back and edit all my videos so they're just a little better, just higher quality, and then reshare them and see what happens. All right, guys. Peace. I'll see you.